Okay, guys, we are back for another solo pod. So, as you can see, I have a lot of Standlee products around me. We just did a great big shoot for Standlee. And actually, these guys are staring at me because they want their alfalfa cubes. So, as you can see, I have been soaking them for quite some time. So, I'm going to give it to them real quick so that they will get off my back. And then I'll sit down and talk to you guys because we have a lot to talk about. Went to the horse show, went to 2 horse shows, and I'm going to tell you guys all the things that happened because there's some drama. Not really like drama, but, you know, just some things that have happened. So hold on one sec. Now I just have cats everywhere. Other than that, we should be good to go. So as you can see, like I said, I have a lot of Standlee stuff around me, and the boys are loving it. They are getting so spoiled. So let's catch up. What's been going on? What have we been up to? So many things have happened. I think that let's go ahead and just do a little recap. So the vlog, not the blog. Well, the blog did go out, but the vlog went out of getting ready for GHJA Finals. So we had local finals, and everything went really well. I just put out our vlog for preparing for that. So it was Ollie's first hunter derby. I cannot believe it. It was a hunt and go. And to say that I think I was more nervous truly just watching than actually riding, because, you know, you have no control when you're on the ground, right? So, but everything went really well. And the thing is, you know, the more you horse show and the more you train these babies, the more experiences you give them, obviously, the more you find out about them. So we now know that, we schooled on Friday. So this was not this past weekend, the weekend before, whenever this comes out. It was at the beginning of November. So first weekend of November was when we did Elite Finals. So Elite Finals was another show's local finals. And so we wanted to go do the Hunter Derby to practice for GHJA Finals, which was the following week. So he had never done a Hunter Derby before. And we now know that Ollie does not love showing past 5 p.m. So we didn't really realize that because we had never really shown him before past 5 p.m. And he schooled really well. And then it came time to do the derby. And we gave him half his dinner. And then he was a little upset that he didn't get his full dinner, and he was down at the ring, and it was cloudy and kind of like dreary outside. So it was for a baby that has never, and I guess he's 6 years old, going to be 7. So he's not like a super baby, but he just hasn't had a lot of experiences as a 6-year-old. Oh, hey. Okay. My cat just decided that she wanted to knock down one of the hay bags next to me. So very cute, Figgy girl. He was a little fresh at Elite Finals, and he ended up being 6th, which was really great. I was so proud of him. Hannah rode him so well. He was jumping insane. But he wasn't his normal, cool, calm, and collected self. He was a little fresh. But that's okay. You know, to be expected. He was a little unsure as to why we were down there, what we were doing, that the jumps were a little bigger, and he decided he wanted to make sure that he really didn't touch any of them. So he didn't. But everything went really well. Truly, Hannah rode him amazing, and all the horses were a little on edge that night. I think they were all a little spooky because, like I said, it was a little bit of a 4:30, 5 witching hour. It was really overcast out, so everything was kind of dark, and so it was all the horses were a little bit on edge. So I really commend him for not being worse, because things could have definitely been worse. He kept everything together. He was really great, got all of his changes. He was awesome. So what more could you ask? So if you guys want to go see that full vlog, it's on YouTube right now. So so just to give you guys a preface, you guys know that I have I sprung it on my trainer. I sprung it on Hannah like last minute to go to GHJA Finals, which is our local finals, like I said. And Ollie, I think, was definitely more prepared for sure. But Sunny, we had been dealing with back feet issues for a long time. Or I'm sorry, that's Alexis. We've been dealing with feet issues for a long time. So if you have horses in the South or in just wet, like tropical conditions, you guys know over the summertime, it is really, really difficult to keep their feet happy. I was turning my horses out at night, and the dew and the grass and all the things, they don't like that. So keeping shoes on him was really, really hard. Shout out Matt Wheeler, who was truly a saint, who did a great job in keeping his, shoes on and rideable as much as we could ride him. So he wasn't necessarily unfit by any means, but we haven't really been jumping around and doing all the things. But, I decided that, hey, why not? It's the end of the year. I want to go and get some content anyway. So we shot for Standlee while we were there as well and got him braided, beautiful, all the things. And so I decided, might as well just show him, right? Like, might as well just go ahead and show him. So that's what we did. And so me being me, and if anyone can relate to this, I would really love some support on this, because my husband makes me feel like I am the only human being like this. But when I tend to do things, I tend to go really, really hard, and I just full send everything. So last week was a quite literal blur. This is the first day that I've had at home. I haven't left my house. I just got in my PJs a little while ago, and I'm not leaving my house today, because truly I haven't been here in almost 2 weeks, because I've been horse showing, I've been riding, I've been working like crazy. I've had social events and so many things going on, but for some reason, like, I like to pack things to the literal brim full, like my days like chocked full, to where every day I have to come home and have alcohol. Like, it's like a must. And sometimes like this morning I was like, I could have a glass of wine and it's 11 a.m. I didn't. I wanted to. But, when you just hit a level, and of course this time of the year, whether you're a mom, a horse girl, whatever you're doing, a business owner, and it's just a crazy time of the year no matter what, because everyone is getting ready for the holidays or getting ready for the new year, and it's just like there's so much going on, right? So I just always have a tendency to like pack things so full, like multiple things in a day, that just like, I know, and I do it to myself. Like, I do it to myself because I want to make sure that I get, when I go, at least I'll say I live life to the fullest. That is for sure, because I chalk my days so full. And sometimes I'm like, God, I would just really love to be at home in my pajamas with my dogs and my horses. But that's just not what I sign up for myself. Because I am a mentally ill human being. But if anyone else is like that, please drop a comment. You guys got to make me feel not so bad, because it really does get, okay, please don't stand on that. Good Lord. The cats are out of control. Can you guys still hear me? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen now that he just stood on that? There could be some random music playing. I don't know. So yeah, like, help me out here. If you guys are like that, please let me know. But I will say, everything has gone super well. We shot some incredible content for Standlee. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. I can't wait for them to see it. Just a quick plug for them. If you guys don't know about them, which you are living under a rock if you don't, lovingly. So I learned about forage-based diet after my horses got EPM. So it was we're coming on 2-3 years ago. And I learned about it, especially when they were in my care primarily. When you're on a boarding facility, it's, you don't really know. It's not that you don't know. It's maybe you're just not as involved in your nutrition and what's going on in their feeding regimens. And that's totally fine as long as you have a great trainer, barn manager, all the things. But so I started feeding Standlee forage because they because of the EPM, and horses that have had EPM do really well on forage-based diets. I have never gotten them on a full forage-based diet, but they are 50-50, sometimes 70-50, or I'm sorry, 70-50. What is wrong with me? 70-30. So in the summertime. So that, and it's just, if you want to go down the forage route, I really suggest you do your research, and I really suggest that you consider all of the things. There's so much information out there, and at the end of the day, you truly have to see what works best for your horse. And like I said, I started feeding it to Ollie when he came back from UGA, and after doing all of the getting all the EPM testing and all of those things, and the transformation was pretty amazing. His coat was so shiny. He filled out, like, oh my gosh, do you guys hear this? You have your forage in there. He wants to go OUT. So demanding. He just really did very, very well on it. So when Sunny came home, automatically switched him over to that as well. They both now eat the same thing. I do the Timothy pellets. Timothy pellets have always been my jam. They are currently eating the alfalfa cubes. I have never really had the opportunity to try them on alfalfa because I didn't know, there's so many conversations about, does alfalfa make them hot? Does it not? So this is going to be my true test to see if it does or if it doesn't. And both of the horses are very fit right now. They just got off of the show season, so I'm very excited to see how they're going to react to it. And Ollie has naturally always been very sensitive. He is sensitive to not just alfalfa, but just a wide variety of things, even medications, and he's just a sensitive guy. So it'll be good to see like how he does on it. He loves it. All the horses love the alfalfa. It's just, I don't know if he's going to be mentally sane on it. So TBD. But I will say that Standlee has a wide variety of products that I really, really like. And like I said, the Timothy pellets has always been my thing. And just, you guys have heard me talk about this on my social media. And if you guys have dealt with this, please, God, let me know. Because the hay situation in my area has gotten, like, really tested my patience. Because it was like one day, all of a sudden, my horses decided they're not going to eat the hay anymore. I don't know what happened. I've been getting the same hay. I've been getting the same hay at the same place. Obviously, it's a natural product. So there's a wide variety of reasons why it would change or whatnot. But something happened. They didn't want to eat the hay anymore. So I've been battling this hay issue for a long time, or it feels like a long time. It honestly feels like an eternity. So this is why Standlee is so great. And again, I have been using this product for long before we started, this brand and I started working together. So this is, no like paid advertising or anything like that. This is genuine customer review. And so I started using the compressed bales. So the compressed bales are 50 pounds. And they are just that. They are so compressed. And I put a flake of the compressed bale in their hay bag mixed in with their fescue hay. And that has really helped solve the problem of the horses not eating their hay or being picky about their hay. Alexis has told me that I've created monsters when it comes to anything that goes into their body because they are now so picky about what they eat, what they don't eat. I may have created somewhat of a monster, but you know what? I have this product to back me up, so it doesn't even matter. But so let's move on to prepping for GHJA Finals. So the week of GHJA Finals, I was, of course, again, balls to the wall, like balls to the freaking wall, just out of control. And when I mean out of control, just meaning like I packed a lot of work in, I packed a lot of all of these different things in, right? And we ended up shipping over on Wednesday, which is midweek, right in the middle of the work week. So naturally, if you work or if you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur, that's very difficult. So we went over Wednesday, schooled on Wednesday, and everyone, and Sunny truly, like when I tell y'all that he schooled so well, I literally cried when we were done schooling. He schooled that well. I it was as if heaven opened, and I literally said to myself that if I die and go to heaven, I hope I get to ride that ride every single day, because it was that incredible. And sometimes when you school so good like that, you're like a little scared that you're gonna like ride like shit after that. Naturally, but I didn't even care because he just schooled so good that I was like, I honestly could just go home. Truly, I could just go home. And so we didn't get to school Ollie on Wednesday night, so we had to school him Thursday night. So Wednesday we closed the shop down. Everything was great. They got braided super late, early into Thursday morning. So I got there Thursday morning. They were braided. They looked amazing. I mean, seeing your horses braided is just like a freaking Christmas morning. Like, you have to agree with me on that. Especially if you're a local girly like me that doesn't get their horses braided all the time for shows. It's always so exciting to get them and see them braided. So Thursday was wonderful. I went and hacked Ollie down in the, was that Thursday morning? I think that was Friday morning, actually. So Thursday I ended up, I think we, just kind of hung out, and in the morning time, oh, hi, are you coming to sit with me? This is Fig. She's our little rescue kitten. And she actually hated everyone for the longest time. And now she's very friendly. So I'm glad she turned around. So I ended up riding Sunny first and hacking him, and he was lovely. We went and basically just for like a trail ride and just rode him around. And then I hacked Ollie. And my wonderful, wonderful friend Blair came, and she was helping me with content, and she was helping groom for me. And so she was doing the vlog, which will come out, and I will show you guys and do all of the things. We'll talk about that. And so she was recording for the vlog, and so if you guys have been to Wills Park, or if you haven't, that's wonderful too. It's a great facility. But they have a ring that's a little bit separated from the other big like hunter and jumper rings. And it's basically, it was the pony ring, and then it was the lunging ring. So people were lunging in there. So you could fit 2 horses in there, lunging. And they had drug it. And so I was having a hard time finding a place to hack Sunny because, the show was going on. There was a lot, there was a lot of things happening. So I just wanted somewhere a little quieter, private to hack. Well, so I went down there after they drug it with Ollie, and he was just so distracted. And, like I said, he's 6. He's been there. I don't want to say he's been there, done that. Because he has, but he hasn't, like in a relative term, right? Like not compared to a lot of horses, but for a baby, he is pretty well seasoned in terms of being other places and traveling and those types of things. But he was just very distracted that day. He just was not focused. He wasn't paying attention to me. I couldn't get him to really listen to my leg. He was really leaning on my right leg and on his right shoulder. And, it just wasn't, he just wasn't listening. And sometimes I have a hard time, and I don't know if you guys struggle with this as well, but sometimes I have a really hard time being a little bit more firm with my horses because I always think about I don't think about their emotions per se, but I always think about their experiences and think about like what they have coming up, what they've been through and all that, and always try to give them like the benefit of the doubt. And that sometimes really bites me in the ass, which it does in this instance. So, not that he was being bad. He wasn't being bad. He was I could put my leg on. He was quiet, but he just was not listening. He just wasn't paying attention. He wouldn't keep, his head was kind of in the air, not wanting to listen, and ignoring my leg and yada, yada, yada. So we were just cantering to the right, and his right lead canter has always been a little bit of the weaker one. It's just not as big. It's just not as balanced. And we came around the corner, and he hit a divot in where I told you guys that they were lunging in there. So he must have hit like a soft spot. Like when you walked across it, you could feel like where the divots were. It was like, like a, when you walk across the grass and you feel like a soft spot, it was kind of like that. And he tripped and went down on both of his front knees. And I, went forward or whatever. And it was like a split second. It happened so fast. So fast. And he recovered, trotted away, and it was fine. But man, like when I tell you, it was like such a mix of emotion, right? Like, because you guys know, I just talked about the EPM thing. You guys, if you guys have been longtime followers, you know that when Ollie did have EPM, undiagnosed, he fell under saddle twice with me on him, and I fell off both times. And the second time was like a really bad fall where he fell all the way down to the ground. It was awful. So as you guys know, like I said, I have PTSD of Ollie tripping. And like when it happened, it was like, I was just kind of like, I was in shock at first. My first immediate reaction was like, oh my gosh, is he okay? And Blair came over, she looked at everything and she's like, I don't see anything. And I trotted and she was like, he looks fine. And so it was fine. Like in the moment, like right after it happened, I was like, okay, this is fine. And then of course, you kind of start processing everything that just happened and you're just like, holy shit. Like, I can't believe that just happened. Like this is it. Like, I'm going to have to sell him. Like, he has EPM again. And, I can't do this. And I'm never going to be able to ride him. And like, you just start going in these like super vicious cycles of like anxiety. I mean, just your anxiety, just like waves of anxiety, just like take over. And it sucks. And it's just like, I never cried. I never, not to be like drama. I never cried, but I think because deep down I know that nothing's wrong with him. I know how sick he was when he had EPM, and I've had him for, going on, 3.5 years now. And like, that was the first time that's the first time he's tripped since like a bad trip. Of course, he trips like sometimes when he is not paying attention. That is for sure a recipe for him tripping. And I think that's with every horse. And, I like deep down, I know to myself, like, okay, prepping for this day, like we have done so much hill work. We have done up and down hills, walk, trot, cantering, and like, he's been fine. And like, deep down that everything's okay, but you also are so afraid that just happened, and that the fear of losing him essentially kind of overcomes you. And it's really hard. It was really, really hard. And like I said, I didn't come off. I didn't even really get unseated, so to speak. It was like a very graceful trip. And so, but it just like, it definitely was part of the day that really sucked. Totally sucked. And it was a good thing that I then, after that happened, my videographer got there and it was time to shoot. And so like, I didn't have time to like think about it. It was just, let's go. We got to get this done. So then we tack Ollie up again. And this is like a couple hours later, and tack him up again to go Hannah to go school him finally for GHJA Finals, for the whole reason why we're there. So he was doing the greens, and the greens was 2-3, and it was in the old pony ring. So it's not in one of the big hunter rings that he is used to showing in. It was in like a ring half of that size, and a totally different footing, and a ring that's not redone, which is fine, no problem. But so, it's now like past 5 o'clock again, and I didn't have time to give him any dinner, and he is pissed. So he is so mad. So something to note about Ollie is he is extremely food driven. He has just always been his thing. And he was pissed. He was so mad that he was down there. And so that was the freshest he's been in a very, like, I think the freshest he's ever been at a horse show, probably. He was awful. So Hannah was like a rock star, and she did such a great job and like handling that. And I just kind of stood there because there was nothing I could do about it. And he was doing like 50,000 lead changes in a row. So needless to say, he's fine. Like, the trip didn't affect him whatsoever. So he decided that he was going to be really mad. And this horse is like pretty emotional. You have some horses that don't have a lot of emotion, and this horse is so much emotion. He's got so much emotion, so much personality. And so you're always going to know like how he feels or how you stand with him. And we definitely knew at that point that he was very unhappy. So, Hannah just kind of hit a point where she was like, all right, like, we're just going to be done. We did something right, and we're just going to walk away and be done with it. So walked away and moved on to the next morning. And I went and hacked him down in the ring that he was showing in. And he was awesome. He felt incredible. And I didn't have any fear. I wasn't scared. I was like, that was like a fluke thing, whatever. So I really feel very confident that he is 100% fine. And always knock on wood. So I feel confident that that was a fluke thing and just an accident, and those things happen, and that's fine. So we got ready to show him, and he was great. I mean, he warmed up really well, very quiet and very calm. And so, we were kind of debating on whether or not we were going to do the step or not, because the jumps were small and it was in the small ring. And so, when you do the step, it's always that battle of, okay, well, that like the rail comes up pretty freaking fast, right? Like, that rail comes up really quick. So, you want to make sure you can get him back, get the change. And especially when you're dealing with a baby. So, Hannah decided to do the step, and the jumps were beautiful. I mean, truly was amazing. I was so proud of him. Did the step. I mean, like, ate up the lines, didn't look like he was running. Sometimes it like kind of can look like that sometimes when you are, when you're jumping smaller jumps. And so he was awesome. I was so proud of him, and he looked incredible. And so, he was late on two changes. He was late on one change the first trip, late on the very last change. He was late on the Figgy, come here. He was late on the other change, on the very last change of the trip. So you only get two trips, and we weren't doing any derbies or anything, so we wouldn't have qualified anyway. But ended up not placing over fences, which was a huge bummer, because truly, like, watching the other trips go, he was really just magnificent. But I also understand, because he was late on the changes, and other people did the ad and didn't miss changes. So, it's just the way that the judging works. And so, but I will say Hannah did the hack, and the hack was like, there were a lot of, when you're at GHJA, when you're at your local finals, the best come out to compete, and there were a lot of nice horses in there. And he ended up winning the hack. Out of 17 horses, he won the hack, which is insane. So that was huge. I mean, we were all we weren't shocked. He was turned out beautifully. I mean, like, you couldn't really keep your eyes off of him, because he was so consistent and just striking, and had such a presence, like, he came into that and just really just rocked it. So that was really exciting. And so then it came time for me to show. Yikes. And I could have hacked him, but I really just, whenever Hannah rides him, I just want to make sure, like, I don't know. I just think it's good for him to have those experiences and have those good, I've hacked him 100 times in 100 classes. So, Yeah, but I knew I was going to ride Sunny, so I wanted to be ready for that. And so we were doing the thoroughbreds. And like I said just a minute ago, we schooled so well. Like our schooling was so magnificent. And so I think, and I haven't shown since May. I haven't shown him since May. Well, I mean, I did a flat class a couple weekends ago, but that doesn't really count. And so I don't get nervous per se. Like I don't get like nervous that something bad is going to happen. I get more like anxious energy of like wanting to do well. And I do have a little competitive streak in me. It's not a big one, but I really just, especially with Sunny, I feel so confident on him. And I went in there, y'all, and I just like forgot how to ride. Like 100% forgot how to ride. And it always feels worse than it looks. And it felt so bad. I jumped the first 3 jumps. And I came around the corner and I just said to Hannah, I was like, this is an absolute shit show. This is a disaster. So, first trip wasn't as bad. We got the step. We missed one of our changes, but it overall wasn't that bad. So, but I went into the second trip thinking like, okay, it can't get worse than that. Well, it did. Okay. Because it can always get worse. So I decided stupidly, but here's my rationality behind it, okay? Let's just be honest. So like I said about Ollie, I decided, I was like, I'm not going to do the step and I'm going to get the ad because we keep missing our changes and it's because I can't get him back fast enough. So Sunny has a huge step, like massive step. And so it's hard for me sometimes to get when we do the step and he's cantering, has a big, beautiful canter. I'm not strong enough to get him back and get the change. So that's where we end up missing changes, is because I just am not strong enough to get him back. And it's hard to practice getting a step like that when you're not in a 200 by 200 arena, like it's really hard to practice like that. So again, like this is why having horse show miles is so important. But we did the ads and I just, it was just a lot of pulling, and it's fine. I'm over it now. I'm going to put my trips up here so you guys can see it. I'm a little bitter about it, but I'm past it now. And I'm just disappointed in myself because I feel like I could have ridden better and I didn't show up for him. And that's always the shittiest part, right? Like that's always the worst part when you're just like not there for your horse. And especially a horse that, we kind of put him into this. Like he had come and schooled a couple weeks before and, he's like, doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. And he literally he will do whatever you want. You want to leave, you want to wait, you want to add, you want to take out, like whatever you want to do. It's just after the jumps is where he has that lead change anxiety and he just likes to take over. And so you're just fighting. And then when he's back on the right lead, he's fine. It's like just a switch that just flips. And, it's called trading, so we just got to work on it. But yeah, so I think over the next couple months, over the wintertime, we're going to go over to Hannah's a lot to practice that. Her ring is bigger than ours, and she has a lot more jumps and a lot more things that we can work on. But still, too, I can do a lot of things at home as well. But then we went and hacked. Okay, so I think there was 12 in the thoroughbreds or 11. And Sunny got 4th in the hack because he doesn't move great. But he was so consistent and so, like, I was like, Hannah has taught me well, right? Like, shout out Hannah. I always, like, boost her up so much. But she, I watched her hack and I saw what she was doing. And I was like, okay, how can I replicate that with Sunny? How can I keep him level, keep him consistent, and just make him so consistent that you can't ignore him? And that's what I did. At least I attempted to do that, and it seemed to work out. And we got 4th in the hack out of 11 or 12. And that was a big deal for me. I was like, that was kind of like a good pat on the back to say, all right, you didn't totally suck. This was kind of the silver lining of the day. So we got our big, beautiful photo in front of the sign, and it was really nice. And it just like, I just love showing him. I just love showing him. I love riding him. I mean, he just is a truly amazing animal. And I just love him so much. Ollie is obviously incredible as well, but when you have so much history, I've been with Sunny for, he's 14, and I've been with him for 11 years. When you have a history like that with an animal, it's like you can't deny that, you just are that, it's in your blood. You two are in each other's blood. So it's just like, it just feels like home for me to show him and ride him. So, and it'll feel that way one day with Ollie too. And, I just, yeah. So overall, I will say, like, I think when I was going around and I was like, shit was really hitting the fan when we were missing lead changes, and it was like, I was so pissed at myself, and I was like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't have come. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Like maybe I shouldn't have committed to this, and they weren't ready, or at least Sunny wasn't ready, and I did him a disservice. And it's like, you just like get in your feels about it. And then like Ollie tripped, and we had that experience, and I was like, I don't know, like maybe it just wasn't worth it. But to that, I say to myself, shut up. And every experience is a good experience because you learn from it. And as cliche and as whatever as that sounds, it's literally just, I truly believe that. And I feel like we take that and go into next year and feel even more confident and feel better about what we took away, what we learned, and what we're going to work on over the winter. So that's going to be, it's going to be good. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of everything that we accomplished. I'm proud of, I'm proud of the ribbons we got. I'm proud of the experiences we had. And I'm just thankful for them. I really am. Like, I just feel so lucky to have such nice animals that, allow me to make mistakes and allow me to, not ride well all the time, and they carry me and they take care of me. But they also can be little shits, and respectfully. But that's the balance, right? Like that's just the way that it goes, and that's the way the ups and downs of riding and being an amateur. You have like Wednesday when we schooled so well with Sunny, I was on it. I saw everything. I didn't see shit on freaking Friday when I showed him. Couldn't see a fence to save my life. It could have been 8 feet high and I didn't see it. So that's a little annoying. It's annoying when you ride really well and you actually know, you're like, holy shit, like maybe I can ride. And then like 2 days later, it's like, no, you can't. You suck, actually. So it's a little, it's a little degrading at times, but that's okay. We're here for it. That's why we love the sport so much. It's like abuses us just enough. But yeah, so it was overall good experiences. And then, moving into we took him home Friday night, got him in the trailer, got home at night. And we got him off the trailer. I got him off the trailer. No, Frank helped. And, put him to bed. And then I had Saturday had a chocked full of photo shoots and lots of things going on. And then Sunday was chocked full of stuff. So Monday, yesterday was one of the craziest days of my life, and I truly can't believe I pulled it off. I don't even know how it happened, but somehow I made it through. It's just 'tis the season, I guess. But I want to hear how you guys are doing. I want to hear like how your horse show experiences are going. How did you guys finish out in the year? How did you close out the year? Are you happy with it? Are you feeling good about it? And what are you looking forward to next year? Like, what are the things that you're looking forward to? And what do you want to improve? I know for me personally, I would definitely, my goals are to show Ollie. And, it's hard because I like, it's always that balance, right? When you have two that are going at the same time, and Hannah says this all the time, it's always really hard to kind of like, you're only one person, right? You can only do so much. You only have so much money. So you kind of have to make decisions and what's going to be best for, each horse. And we spent a lot of time on Ollie this year. And not to say that we didn't spend a lot of time on Sunny, because we did. But I think that we're going to do a lot of training at home. And I think we're just going to see how the winter goes. Like, how are we feeling moving into March, and then kind of just reevaluate it from there. So that's kind of where we're at. So let me know how you guys are doing. I forgot to also say something. I don't know if you guys like listening to me blab or not. Because I feel like I haven't done a solo in a while, so I have a lot to tell you guys. But another thing happened. I don't even know. Like, this is going to be such a long. Maybe it won't be. I can make it short. But because I've talked about it so much, but I'm excited to announce that Inside the End Gate has officially won, an Equus Film Festival Winnie Award, which is insane. I cannot believe it. I'm so honored. I'm so thankful. Y'all, when I just don't even think you guys realize, like, when I decided to do the show, I had no expectations. I really didn't. Of course, like, when you start a project, anybody wants it to do well, right? Like, everyone, you don't create something as an artist or as a creative and think like, well, I don't want anyone to like this, or I don't want anyone to see it. You want people to see your work, and you want people to see what your visions are. And I think, but I never would have imagined that it would have gotten this far. I never would have imagined that it would have won an award. Like, it won an award. That is insane. Like, that is so crazy. That's so crazy. It won an award. And I think the whole crew and the cast and the team and everybody was just so blown away and excited. And yeah, it's just a cool thing. I said this on Monday, which was yesterday, but I hope that in your life that you have something like this. It doesn't have to be on a big scale, a small scale, whatever, you see that fits you. I hope that you create something, and you create something and put it out into the world, and you get a response of people truly loving it. Even if it's just one person, even if it's one person that says, this was amazing, this was incredible. Because you know what? Putting something out like that is really hard. It's not easy. It's really difficult to, especially in a world that you're submerged in, right? Like, I'm submerged in the horse world. I am in it, and it's always intimidating to create something in a space that is like home to you, because that's really where you're the most vulnerable. Golly, I shouldn't do pods in here anymore. You guys are rowdy. And it's just an incredible feeling to create something, put it out to the world, and have it be received in such a positive way. And I hope everybody can feel that at some point in their life, because it is truly an incredible feeling. And it's not, it's not narcissistic. It's not, that I want people to think about me or I want people to think about the work, and I want people to think about the message of what the message of the show is. And the message of the show, and funny enough, we did a live pod last night with a local IEA team and a good friend of mine who I've ridden with for years. And we got to see episode 1 of season 2, and the parents were there too. They're in high school, they're young. There was anywhere from 5th grade to junior year in high school. And one of the parents came on and said that they loved seeing the vulnerability, and that they loved seeing that no matter what level you're showing at, even if you're 30, 35, 40, that you're still sitting at the show ring and you can be vulnerable and you can still have anxiety and you can still work through that competitive anxiety. And he said that was so nice to see that. And another parent said that as well, that it shows their child that it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to work through those things. And to see a trainer such as Emily Ellick, who is, talking Piper through, her anxiety in the moment. And, that's what a good coach is. That's what a good partnership is. That's what those things are. And, when we select subjects and, we ask these people to be a part of this project, sometimes you truly don't know, like, what relationships they have with their trainers or, but I couldn't have struck gold more with Emily and Piper. I mean, like, such a true and tried, caring, honest relationship in this horse world. And that is such a breath of fresh air. And, kudos to Piper. I mean, we've talked about her so much and she's been on the show and, she is so vulnerable and so honest and that is so refreshing. And as I said, the younger generation needs that. They need to see that it's okay to be that way. They need to see that it's okay to, show your emotion. And of course, I think that there's always a flip side to that coin, right? Where, how do you handle that? And as a trainer and well, I am not qualified to talk about that because I'm not a trainer, nor have I ever been. But I just have to say that, I think for so long that I know when I was showing as a junior and I would sit in my car and cry because I was so afraid and I was so nervous and I didn't want anyone to know. And I just, I think being able to like have those conversations and be more open and honest about those things, you don't have those big explosions of emotion because you're able to say like, yeah, I'm a little nervous, like, or, you're able to express yourself in a better way. And I don't think that's being soft. I don't think that is, any kind of anything. I think that is just truly just having good communication as a human being and being vulnerable with the people that are keeping you safe and keeping you protected. So I think that's important. And I'm glad that, I had the opportunity to do that last night. So that was really fun. So that's all I have for you guys today. I mean, that was a lot. That was like a lot of things going on. So I hope you guys are still with me and I appreciate you guys being here and truly just taking the time to sit down with me and talk to me. And I really do want to hear from you guys, as I always do. I always want to hear like, what are you guys doing? Like, what's going on with y'all? How, like I said, how was your show season? What big accomplishments do you guys have? What do you want to do in 2026? And I love having those conversations and I'm always here for it. You guys come up to me all the time, whether it be at a horse show. I've been at the horse show so much these past couple weeks and so many of y'all have come up to me and like talked to me and it's so fun. And I love getting to talk to you guys. So always feel free to come up to me and talk to me and tell me, what you're looking forward to for the next year and your horses and what do you have going on. And so I love that. But all right, y'all. I'm going to go get a glass of wine. No, actually, first, I'm going to feed these kids. I think I'm going to go put this little one to work just to stretch his little booty out. And then we're going to feed, and then we're going to go out. So that's our routine. They're still going out at night because it's, like, still 75 degrees during the day, which I am not complaining about. Let me just go ahead and say. But, yeah, it's still a little warm, so they just play in the water, and I can't have that. I can't have them not have water. So they stay in. So I hope you guys are great. We're getting close to the holidays. My husband's turning 40 in a week today. So I'll tell you guys all about that and how that goes and what we're going to plan to do on the next solo. So I love you guys. Peace out.